Evening, folks. Brian here. Monday, May 20, 2024. Hope you're all swell this evening. Something's really caught my attention, and of course, everything just falls into place. All the pieces of the puzzle. So I'm watching this video by Gil Bouchard. I don't know too much about this gentleman. I know he's been around talking about something really caught my attention. I want you to pay close attention. This is the orbit of Earth. This is the intersection path of, you know what? Planet X. By his report, the intersection point was March, Saturday, 26, 2016. It is widely reported that because the system approaches from the south of more than one celestial body, it is only viewable from the Antarctica South Pole. I'm going to get to this state in a minute. I'm going to tell you who went there. Please keep in mind that we're talking about more than one celestial body. Of course, the main one hasn't passed by yet. Before I tell you who was down there on that date, I'm going to go back a few weeks. Actually, I'm going to go back to September 2015. I believe it was September 12, 2015. There was an incident discovery below the Grand Mosque in Mecca. Something of religious significance. Something acknowledged by both the Christian and the Islamic faiths. And it has to do with Archangel Gabriel. I'm going to leave that part out for now. The head imam of the Grand Mosque in Mecca called upon Putin for his assistance in something. I'll explain. During the Crusades in the year 1204, the invading Roman armies seized some religious manuscripts from the Islamic faith. However, the Eastern Russian Orthodox Church saved some of these manuscripts and protected them for the Islamic faith. And the Grand Mosque knew this, but needed their help. Putin dispatched the research vessel Admiral Vladimirsky, escorted by a fleet of armed naval vessels, sent it to Jeddah, outside of Mecca. The Russian Patriarch Kirill, on February 12th, was sent down to Cuba to meet Pope Francis. The first time in almost 1,000 years, these two leaders met. They met in secret for about 2 hours, where it is rumored that Pope Francis also gave him some additional manuscripts, which has to do with the safe removal and transport of a certain religious artifact. 4 days later, Patriarch Kirill was hastily sent down to the Antarctica to meet up with the research vessel. Admiral Vladimirsky, where a ceremony was conducted on the shores of the Antarctica. Now enters in President Obama. In March 20 to 22, 2016, Obama made a visit to Cuba, where he met with Cardinal Ortega. Following that visit, on March 23rd and 24th, he went down to Argentina. On March 25th, he proceeded to the southern point of Argentina, which is the transfer point, connection point to the Antarctica. President Obama has some missing dates from his itinerary. Starting on that date of March 26, 2016. Why? Because President Obama went down to the South Pole Observatory, which is a radio telescope, infrared telescope, specifically designed to monitor that celestial body. At the intersection point. At the same time, traveling with him, CIA Director Jake Clapper made a secret visit to Australia. Shortly after that, the Australia Governor General made a secret visit to the Antarctica. 2 months later, Director Clapper suddenly retired. November 11, 2016, Secretary of State John Kerry went down to the Antarctica. The same time period, President Putin had a video link-up meeting with a group of people. Right during the election, the Secretary of State leaves and goes down to the Antarctica. If that map I just showed you is correct, and the trajectory at that time of one of the bodies intersecting Earth's orbit at that time, visible from the South Pole, at the same time President Obama went off the radar. October 13, 2016, President Obama signed Executive Order 13744, coordinating the efforts to prepare the nation for space weather events, to include extreme space weather events, and also in brackets, beyond the connection point between the sun and the earth. Of course he knows. He went down there to view it. Do you understand why now he produced that movie, Leave the World Behind? He's trying to tell us who is to stop him from making that movie. Of course, they have to use the cover story, cyber attack, because they've been drilling that into your brains for the past several months. The World Economic Forum has been pushing it. The governments have been pushing it. It will be the cover story. But the true message that he wanted you to try and pick up on, regardless of what you think of him, look at it closely. 3 scenes, the most obvious one of the red celestial object body closer to the Earth than the Sun, which aligns with the Chilean scientist Carlos Ferreira. 59 years documented research. By his calculations, will be passing by Earth at 14 million kilometers. In comparison, the Sun is 150 million kilometers. Very cleverly done, yet not so obvious. Some of you have heard me say this before. The scene of the bedroom with the wall mural behind the bed of the oceans. 3 separate scenes. Scene 1, level of the ocean, is right here, relatively calm. Scene 2, the ocean's now up here. It's getting rougher. Scene 3, the actors are standing up in the bedroom. The ocean is way above their heads and it's getting very, very rough. Luke 21, verse 25. The nations will be in anguish and perplexity of the roaring and the tossings of the seas. Deers and cows, when lying in rest, will align their bodies to the magnetic field lines, to magnetic north. They will line themselves south-north. The scene of the confused deer, because the Earth was being bombarded by so many CME hits, by so many large, powerful solar flashes, the X-ray hits, which also grounded the flamingos landing in the swimming pool. And as the black actor said when Julia Roberts asked him, and he said, the truth is much scarier. Can you see now? When it comes to a timeline, don't try and figure out a timeline. Pay attention to how our planet is responding right now. And it's only going to get worse. March 26, 2016, the intersection. The missing 3 days from his itinerary. After going to the southern point of Argentina, which is the closest travel point to McMurdo Station in Antarctica. And the first time, the leaders of the 3 main faiths called upon each other for help and worked together.